I mean, your role is opposite of that of Julia Roberts in Gaslit, and you've got some really great exchanges with her in the series. What was it like working with Julia?
Well, I was really looking forward to it. I loved working with Sean Penn. That was a lot of fun. And then Julia
The
Roberts was
makeup
later
with
on.
Sean Penn is insane.
Yeah, and that was the same makeup artist who applied makeup on the Grinch to Jim Carrey. Kazuhiro is his name, and he designed also Gary Oldman's terrific makeup for the Winston Churchill movie Darkest Hour. So yeah, when I met Sean Penn, I did not recognize him because he wouldn't. So good. But when I worked with Julia, she's a big star. Again, I don't want to waste her time. I just want to do a good job. And but the funny thing was, we were so far away on that set. They recreated the Senate chamber where we were doing the scene, and she was a good 20 feet away. And even though she's got a little microphone, kind of like this one, she's got a microphone, and the conceit is that it's being amplified through the place, but really wasn't. They were recording her separately. The microphone didn't actually function. So I was like, I would say my lines, and then I would peer to see if was she done talking? I can't quite hear her. So it was like almost having a conversation with Julia Roberts. And that's happened to me a couple of times where you go, wow, I see. The reality of this is they don't need this kind of microphone and this kind of sound. They need the wonderful, clean movie sound, and they don't give a damn if I can hear or not. So it was tricky, but she was very gracious.
Well, I mean, we had Eric, her brother Eric, on the show a couple weeks ago, and I mean, geez, one of the sweetest, nicest people. I mean, it just comes from good parenting. You just know. I mean, it's just there's no way it doesn't. So on Hunters, you were saying, you play the judge presiding over the trial of Adolf Hitler. I mean, it doesn't get any more dramatic than that.
Pretty dramatic.
I mean, and what a concept. What was it like diving into that role?
It's fun, super fun. And they found this amazing location up in Simi Valley that is like this. It's actually, I think it's owned by some synagogue. It's a big Jewish center, and this huge round concrete building that looked amazing. And like, yeah, this would be the kind of place you'd want to have a tribunal, something like this. This is just dramatic looking. And the weird thing that happened with that one is I auditioned and I got the part, and I was like, wow, this is so exciting. And then they said I was going to work on a Monday. And so on the weekend, I thought, well, good, I'm going to rehearse the heck out of this thing. And, I'm really going to get it down. But my wife and I will go to San Diego, where we sometimes go. My mother has a house down there, and we'll relax. I'll rehearse. And then on the Friday, as we're just about to leave, they said, we made a terrible mistake. We need you right now. And I went, really? And where are you? And they said, in Simi Valley. It's like 40 minutes away. I'm like, oh my God, I got to drop everything. Yeah, we need you as fast as you can get here. And there's a thing called the actor's nightmare. And that's where, and I've had it all my life, and a lot of actors get it, where you suddenly find yourself on stage and with an audience, and you're not quite sure what the play is. And you know that you'd rehearsed it, but it's like, has anybody got a copy of the script around? Well, this was like the real life actor's nightmare, because I drove like a bullet out to Simi Valley. They hustled me into makeup and wardrobe. They hustled me onto the set, and they said, we don't have time to rehearse. But it's scene 32, and I got scene 32, Jesus Christ. And I've got these script pages. Luckily, I'm on the dais with all the judges, and I can lay out some little papers, because I was like holding on for dear life, like, what's going on? And they were rolling the camera, and I had no idea what we were doing. And after that point, everything was fine. But and even that take was probably pretty good, because I could say, objection, overruled.
Well, but your improv background, I'm sure, had to help somewhat.
A little.
A lot. So you're currently working on Apple Plus's The Big Door Prize, which is being produced by some of the same people who made Schitt's Creek, one of my absolute favorite shows. Probably one of the best comedies of the past 5 years. How did your casting for that show come about?
Again, fortunate. We do all our auditions from home these days, most of us actors, and so I turned in a tape, and they called me back, and they liked my Irish accent a lot, and so I got to play Chris O'Dowd's dad, and it was a great honor and a wonderful treat, actually.
What's it like working opposite him? He's another guy who I feel like has an incredible comedic timing and kind of body language.
Well, I have spent time with Chris, and I love him. He's great. He's very funny. He's a good actor. He's a good comic actor, but he's a good actor. He can do all kinds of colors, and he doesn't come from stand-up. He comes from theater and goes off and does plays. And I have a lot of respect for him. I think he's terrific. He's screamingly funny when he wants to be. He just has this kind of warm, just irresistible kind of personality, and they're making full use of it with this show, with the Big Door Prize, where he plays this teacher who in the small town, who, his destiny is really, he gets this destiny card from the Morpho machine that tells him that he's a whistler. And what does that mean? And he's trying to figure that out, and everybody's changing around him, and he's trying to find his bearings. And it's very fun. We just finished shooting season 2. Even though season 1 just started airing and is, I think, almost all released now. Maybe one more episode comes out next week. So hopefully we'll have season 3, 4, 5. But it's a fun, very original show. And I don't know, probably some people, it's not their cup of tea, but I think it's really pretty charming.
You've employed, now, not just in this interview, but on these shows, a different accent in each of the shows we've just discussed. Irish in the Big Door Prize, German in Hunters, and kind of a different kind of American dialect, definitely from your own, in Gaslit. Right. Which one is the hardest to do, and what is required in order to get it right?
Well, obviously, I specialize in ones that I feel comfortable with. Yeah. The Gaslit one, this character was Edward Garney, and there was not a lot of video to study of Edward Garney. But I knew that he was from... had spent some time in upstate New York and also was down in Florida. And these little samples that I heard of his voice reminded me very much of the actor Joseph Cotten. And so I thought, well, maybe he's sort of skewing Joseph Cotten. I'm going to try to do Joseph. And that was my in for him, because I just didn't have enough research material. And I think it sounds pretty convincing.
No, it definitely sounds authentic. Now, this actually kind of seems like a good lead off to plug your fantastic new course, How to Become a Working Actor. Tell us a little bit about what made you decide to put that course together.
Well, I got approached by a company that does these things, online courses. And, I've been a working actor, for better or for worse, for 35 plus years. And I know what I've done to get there. I've actually kept notes, and there's certain things that I apply over and over again to keep working. It's easy to get a job or get a part in something. It's more difficult to sustain it over the long haul. And there are various challenges that happen like that. So I created these courses, which is a series of videos and ebooks that contain pretty much all the successful actions that I have employed in my career to be a working actor. I don't know how to tell you how to be a star. If I did, I would do that, and then I'd write about it, I guess. But if I had time, but I do know how to be a working actor and keep working and keep your business going and prospering, and so that you can raise a family and get out of some of the job that you don't like. So it's at jimworkingactor.com. You can find out all about it at the moment, people have been telling me that they appreciate it, that it has good information, that they can assimilate easily. It's also pretty entertaining. I think I make it pretty accessible.
I know I saw you recently as Dr. Nicholson on Young Sheldon. What else should we be on the lookout for with you in it in the upcoming future?
Well, if you haven't seen Welcome to Chippendales, I appear as Phil Donahue in Chippendales, which was, that was a whole nother kind of voice and character, and I don't know, just a hair piece and the whole deal. And also, I just got back from Chicago, where I did an episode of Chicago Fire, just a little scene in that. Nice of them to have me, and I enjoyed it very much. Could go to Chicago for the day. And then season 2 of the Big Door Prize, which will follow at some point, season 1.
Jim, thank you so much for joining us. I mean, it's been a great pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, the always entertaining Jim Meskimen.
Thanks so much.